organization change and development, right? Which briefly is often written as OCD. So when we talk of organization change and development process, we need to understand the organization functions in an open system. This is very important because we will see, let me share you, if you look at this, are you able to see the diagram? I need to share it. Are you able to see the diagram? So
Yes.
if you see here, the organization is basically open system, isn't it? In your first, second semester, we have many times discussed this. So to start with the understanding or develop an understanding on change and development, we need to understand how organization, why organization is known as a dynamic organization or works in a dynamic system, or why we call organization to be working in an open system, as an open system, right? Because of the main attributes which you see here, that is, which talks about inputs. The inputs come from where? Now, from where these inputs come? They come from the external environment, and then the output goes to the external environment, isn't it? And the transformation process takes place within the organization. So when we talk about the inputs which is coming from the external environment, the inputs may be with respect to technology, it may be with respect to it may be with respect to the people whom you are hiring them from the external environment. They had their own experiences in their life, their own teaching, learning exercises in their life, and their own values and attitude, isn't it? They have their own culture, and they bring that in when they enter your organization, right? Similarly, when you are talking about technology, change in technology changes the product characteristics, nature, functions, exactly, costs also. In our previous class, we discussed in training and development class that normally organization focuses on 3 strategies, isn't it? So therefore, the technological changes, the economical changes taking place outside the organization. You look at the COVID conditions. It's a good example to try to understand change and development. The COVID problem is something that is happening within, throughout the world, in different parts of the countries, in different parts. So therefore, because of which we are restricting socializing of people, not socializing physically, distancing is taken care of, because of which organizations, in the initial time, very few organizations actually continued their production process during those initial 2 lockdown period. And those who continued production period for essential services, they all followed the rules and regulations to ensure physical distancing and ensure sanitization of places. So what I want to say is, anything that is happening in the external world, external environment, it influences organization, its practices, its policies, its philosophy, its, immediately it affects them. And because of that, organization needs to take some steps. Okay, the steps may be by changing the activities of employees, by redesigning the work. If you see, take the example working from home, it has changed how people are working nowadays, wherever it is possible to work from home. So your job is being redesigned, the methods are being redesigned, technology, more platforms have come up for digital, digital work. So the organization in itself, a lot of transformational processes takes place to bring about change in the inputs, and these change leads to outcomes. The outcomes may be in product of, first of all, the change will come in the products and services provided, isn't it? The product may change. For example, if you look at Pantaloon, now that day I saw the Pantaloon tagline said that style with change. What does it mean? That means since you are supposed to now wear a mask, so you accordingly change your wardrobe so that you whenever you move out, you wear clothes so that you are to the situation of COVID, right? So what I mean to say here, whenever there is change, the products and services need to change to reach the customers. Secondly, the financial results it influences. Human results, see how human results, when a person goes back to the society in the evening, or say later because a human being is a link between the organization and the society. Society is just when the person leaves the organization physical boundaries or premises, the person is in his social world, personal life starts. So that is where again this this boundary line, though it is diminishing because of working from home kind of things, but what I want to say is the change in the individual will also influence the change in the external world. So we start with the discussion, start with the argument rather, that organization works in an open system, and since organization works in an open system, therefore organization needs to encounter the changes in the external environment in a very planned way, isn't it? Do you agree that change is continuous, isn't it? If we agree that change is continuous, that means we need to be prepared to encounter these changes. And if we want to encounter these changes, we need organization development interventions by which we can encounter the changes. So in this paper of organization change and development, we will first try to understand organization change in a better way, but though in organization behavior paper you must have touched some parts of organization change, but let me tell you that we in this specialization we will go into greater details of understanding more of the change models and how they actually influence the organization development process, right? So in this process, I actually discussed with I gave you those 4 caselets. So if we see in the caselet 1, what is actually happening in the caselet 1? Those who have not read now also please read your screens quickly. We see that there is a general manager of a company in the FMCG sector approached an OD consultant to help his team of senior managers identify the strategic challenges in the new environment and to plan appropriate organization interventions to prepare the unit to face them. Okay, simple. That means a general manager is trying to bring about change, improve. If you recall, we have discussed in our previous semester environment scenario planning, right? So for that you need to capture the information from the environment so that accordingly you can bring about change in your organization. It was a real one, but they were just spectators rather than actors, and relied on the general manager for identifying key issues and planning actions. So what happened? Actually, in this case, The workshop was designed, but the employees did not actively participate in the process to generate diagnosis or suggestions of the, they neither gave, wait a minute. I'm trying to open a pen. Yeah. So if you see here, the problem was with the diagnosis is, if you see, the people did not actually give any, they did not reciprocate, okay, whatever was done by the general manager. So if this was the condition, was there any sense of doing the workshop? No. But was the workshop important? Yes. Why it was important? So that you can collect information for people, right? So if you, by now I think you all must have gone through also this one. So with the first workshop itself not achieving the intended objective, the change initiative fizzled out. So what actually is happening in this small caselet? And one more thing I want to say that, see, as a management student, try to quickly read case studies, try to develop a connection with whatever you have studied, with what issue is being discussed, and then try to look for a solution based on whatever, you know, wisdom you have acquired during your management education. Why I'm saying this, because again and again I've repeated in my HRM classes also, because your, you know, your interviews and your various tests will be based on your ability to make decisions, and this is what is required here. If you look at the, you know, the case, what is happening, what actually happened, there was change required, okay, change was required, change was needed, but did the general manager try? Yes, the general manager tried for the change. He contacted an OD person to carry out change, but did they carry out change? Yes, they conducted a workshop, but it failed. Why did it fail? Because of the reason that the sense of something we called sense of responsibility was low among people. Yeah, or we can also say that there was lack of, wait, let me write down here. There was lack of ownership. Okay, there was actually lack of ownership. What happened? In easy words, if I put down, the general manager made an attempt, the workshop was conducted, but the participants, the objective of the workshop was to collect information from the participants, involve them in the process, and search for solutions, but the participants did not say anything. It is a development process can be successful only when people participate in it, isn't it? If for the people whom you are carrying out the change, if they do not actively participate in the process, then it is difficult to succeed. So in this case, the problem is what? The problem is lack of ownership. Okay, the people are not participating in the process of change and development. Next, let me move to the second one. Let us come quickly to the case 2. What happens in the case 2? Again, I assume you have gone through it. So case 2 says that there was a human resource development manager of a pharmaceutical firm, and he was expecting to function as an internal OD consultant. So what happens here, we come across this word called internal OD consultant. That means many organizations hire OD consultants from external places. We will discuss this in detail in our third unit of the syllabus. So OD consultants are hired, and many times large organizations, they train their people to be OD consultants also. So but in this case, what actually happens is the HRD manager wants to bring about some change in the performance appraisal system. So as you can see, you know, we studied in HRM, you remember, if I want, suppose as an HR person, I want to do redesign the work. Can I, without involving, suppose the employees are software engineers, so can I do this job redesigning work with myself without without involving the software engineers? Is it possible? No. What will I have to do? If you recall our HRM classes, we need to talk to these people, we need to make observations, we may need to take interviews, find out what are the issues, arrange them, because the work is being done by them, isn't it? And then we prepare a job analysis. Similarly, this HR guy, he actually wanted to bring about change in performance appraisal system, but when he tries to, you know, involve the senior managers or line managers of the organization in the process, the CEO rejects his proposal. If you see here, the managers like the idea and express their willingness to associate with the project, but the CEO rejected this proposal, not wanting to spare his key managers for the task. If his CEO feels that the performance appraisal is an activity, is an HR activity, so the HR manager is responsible to do it, and he should not, you know, work with the line managers to create it. But do you actually think it is possible for an HR person in an organization to prepare a performance appraisal system without consulting the people for whom the appraisal system is being made? Is it possible? No, because you need to, you know, as an HR person, you need to know the ways and means of doing it. But the issue is you need to consult the particular person so that you can find out what are the kinds of goals and objectives they have, how are they carrying out the project, what is the process they are using it. Then only you can design their performance appraisal system, right? You cannot just sit and make some bookish sentences and prepare their appraisal system. So here again you see the work of the organization development in the way of developing an appraisal system fails, is a failure. Now why it's a failure here? Because of lack of support. What is the main issue? Lack of support from organization leadership. So another important learning comes here. See, our first, what was our first learning? Our first learning was that ownership is required. That means if you are carrying out organization development activity, each and every employee of the organization should feel or should have a sense of ownership. So sense of ownership means the desire, the intention that the person is actively involved in the process of work in the particular organization and owns the responsibility towards the development or change that is taking in that place, in that work. Similarly, if you look at the case 2, our learning is organization development has to get support from the topmost leadership of the organization. If the leadership of the organization does not support, it is not easy to carry out organization. It's a failure actually. It's not about easy, it's a failure. You just cannot carry out the activity. Now let us come to the third case. If you recall the third case, you must have read it. So what happens in the third case? It is an example of a steel company, steel plant sort of a company, where the organization development activity is carried out. And how do they carry out? They develop a process of innovation of new products. The objective is to facilitate the innovation of new products. And for this, what they do, they hire an OD who actually, talks to production, marketing and R&D division people. But what comes out after talking to them, he realizes, the OD guy realizes that each one is pointing fingers at the weakness of the other two functions. That means what happens actually in an organization, see, everybody is working in a closed group. So whenever you try to say to improve, we see that in ourselves also. If somebody tries to suggest us to bring about change in ourselves, we immediately point out the mistakes of others instead of trying to change ourselves. So here what happened, this OD practitioner actually talked to production, marketing and R&D people for a new product development. But what happened, they started pointing fingers on each other. So therefore, what did this guy do? As an OD practitioner, believed that effectiveness of the process was linked to management of interface among the departments. Now this keyword, remember. And as an HR person, it's very more important, because all the organization change and development activities which are initiated because of change in external environment, in all those processes, HR people play a very, very important and crucial role. And if you are not competent enough to carry out that role, then in those cases disasters may take place. So what happens here, you see, so he arranges, so he arranged a series of diagnostic and action planning workshops. Now this is a smart attempt that people like you in HR could do, that he arranged diagnostic and action plan workshops where he involved all the participants from all these three departments, right? And when he brought all these three departments people together, they sat down to solve a common problem. Okay, then what happened? They came out with lot of effective ways in dealing with the problems. So the workshop contributed to stronger relationships among the members. So what I intend to say, what happened in this story, a small caselet actually. First, the OD practitioner, when tried to talk to each other, everybody pointed fingers. So what he decided, he or she decided to carry out workshops at different levels, in different workshops to discuss the innovation of new products, including all the people. So what we learn from this is, first is, it has to be, one thing is to be confrontation. Wait, one is confrontation, isn't it? He or she brought people from all the three departments together to sit and discuss. So when all these three people who were earlier pointing fingers on each other were front to front, so they were confronting each other, okay? And once there is confrontation, whatever issues you have with me, you speak it out, and whatever issues I have with you, I speak it out. So we realize the problems lying and these problems are all mutually dependent, and as well as the work is mutually dependent, so it resulted into collaboration. When they together tried to see the problem, they realized their own problems also. We will discuss, you know, when we do in detail, when we discuss in your third unit, I think, team interventions, we will discuss such case studies, and we will see how actually people carry out these OD intervention workshops, where you know, you come out with solutions of lot of problems. People confront, and once they confront, they realize their own positions, own issues, and then they collaborate towards the development activity, right? So here our learning is confrontation and collaboration is very important for organization development or transformation process, and how this was made successful, how this OD guy made it successful, because in the first step, actually, he collected data, isn't it? The first step was he collected data. How did she collected data? She collected data in the beginning by talking to each individually. When he or she talked to each person individually, she reveals that everybody gave some or other information. By charting out the information, you can actually see what is the scenario where the problem lies. So once in the step one, she diagnosed the problems. In the second step, she actually designed how to solve this problem, and in solving this problem, she designed the workshop in which all these three department people were involved actively. They carried out some activities and discussions. We will discuss this when we read OD interventions in detail. Okay? So therefore, what happens here, this confrontation and collaboration in the workshop actually helped them to come out of the problem. The next case study, the last caselet, if you must have gone through, actually talks about an organization where, see, the organization was in the beginning a command and control culture. Means what? It was a mechanistic culture. Okay, the organization was more command and culture, or you can say it was more autocratic in nature. The management style was more autocratic here in the organization. Then this OD consultant guy comes in, and what she tries to do, she brings about a change in corporate planning department, initializes this corporate planning department. She brings about a new department, right? And what does this department do? This department actually organized principles which focuses on autonomy, flexible rules, team approach, collegial working environment. Okay, so what happens with the coming of this corporate planning department? The organization has actually shifted from autocratic to, what should I write, organic. Okay, the organic means there is more autonomy, more flexibility. The way of doing thing has changed. Earlier it was more hierarchical, now it is more team-based approach. But after 2 years, what happens in the third year? The personal chief retires, and since this guy retires, the OD consultant are also withdrawn. So once the guy was withdrawn and the personal chief is naturally replaced. So what is happening here? The personal chief is replaced, and the next guy who comes in carried out different kind of activities and functions, because of which what happens, if you see here, many people leave the organization because of frustration, right? Because of frustration, dissatisfaction, unhappiness within the organization, many people leave the organization. This leaving of organization is known as attrition. So the activities of the second or replaced personal chief leads to such changes which leads to more turnover, and once turnover is more, morale of people reduces, automatically productivity will reduce, your cost of again carrying out recruitment, selection and training process increases. So what happened actually in this case? Now in this case, when one person left and the other person came, a vacuum was created, right? A vacuum was created. So how to overcome this? We need to understand how, because see, company is a company sustainability of a company is for a long period. People go and come, new people come in, many people leave due to different reasons. So should the organization development activity be affected by such changes? No. Now how can you stop doing is by trying to stabilize change. How we can do it? By stabilizing changes. Remember, don't confuse, change though is constant, but whenever we carry out some change process, we need to stabilize the process. Now this new personal chief immediately brought about some changes. That means the organization guidelines or maybe the leadership of organization did not actually back the corporate training department so strongly that the changes would have been stabilized. Another thing in organization development, when we discuss its interventions and process in detail, we discussed that the organization should not be always dependent on OD consultants.